Are you looking to add a Bluesound streamer to your setup, but you're not quite sure which one to go for? Well, here is everything that you need to know to make the smart choice. Hey guys, Louis here from Smart Home Sounds, and it's fair to say that Bluesound have built a little bit of a reputation for making some seriously good hi-fi products over the years, and their streamer lineup is no different. With 3 models to choose from, each offering something a little bit different, deciding which to go for can be a bit of a challenge, but luckily for you, we've tested them all out. And in this video, I'm going to take you through the entire range. I'll explain what each does best, who they're right for, and of course help you figure out which model makes the most sense for your setup. Now for context, all of our testing has been done on a couple of different systems here in our SHS showroom. We've tested these streamers with 2 amps, the budget-friendly Riga IO and the Arcam Radia A25, which naturally pairs with the Radia A5 streamer. That way, we could see how the Bluesound models stacked up, not only with an entry-level amp, but also against a system designed to work together. For speakers, we rotated between the Sonos Faber Lumina 1s and the KEF R3 Metas. 2 solid setups that are revealing enough to hear the differences between the streamers, but still close enough to what a lot of people might be using at home. Now, before we dive into the individual models, let's quickly cover off what these boxes actually do. Now, streamers are basically designed to bring all of the benefits of modern streaming to hi-fi that you already own. So if you've got an older amp, a turntable and a pair of speakers that still sound great but don't have streaming built in, then a streamer will act as the bridge. It connects to your networks, streams music from all the major services in high resolution, and sends that clean signal straight to your amp or powered speakers, so you can enjoy your whole collection through your existing setup. Now, just to be clear, these are not amplifiers. They won't power your passive speakers directly. You'll still need an amp or powered speakers for that. Think of it like they upgrade the brains of your system without you having to replace the heart of it. Now, if you've been looking around at different streamers, then you've probably already seen some other more affordable options from brands like Wim, for example. And it's a fair question. If they both stream high-res audio, they do multi-room and pull in the big services, why pay more for Bluesound? Well, the answer really does depend on the angle that you're coming from. If your main priority is getting into streaming as cheaply as possible, then yeah, something like Wim will absolutely get the job done and might even make more sense. But if you're looking at things from the other direction, say you're coming from more traditional hi-fi separates or you're investing in a better amp and speakers, then Bluesound actually sits in a really nice sweet spot. It's still more affordable than the super high-end streamers out there, but it gives you a big enough jump in build quality, internal engineering, DAC performance and overall sonic capability compared to the budget options. And that's where Bluesound really does set itself apart. They've been around for a while now, and their whole approach is about delivering proper high-res, lossless audio without the complexity or the price tag that you'd usually associate with other audiophile gear. Each model in the lineup has its own strengths, but one thing that they all share is the same control experience through the BlueOS app. Now, we've tested a lot of streaming ecosystems over the years, from Sonos to HEOS to Wim, and as I'm sure you guys will know, a bad app can make or break the whole experience. But for me, BlueOS is one of the best out there. It supports high-res audio up to 24-bit 192 kHz, ties in all the big streaming services, so that's your Tidal, Qobuz, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music, and it's Roon ready too. Plus, you've also got native Tidal Connect, Qobuz Connect, Spotify Connect, AirPlay 2 and multi-room playback built right in as well. But beyond the specs, it's just a really slick, responsive UI that's nice and easy to use. Now, I won't bore you guys with all of the features, but there's things like gapless playback, full playlist management, EQ controls, easy room grouping, and even more advanced stuff like integrating local libraries. The beauty of it is that there's none of that bouncing between apps or wrestling with menus. It's just simple, it's reliable, and it works, which for me is a massive win. So what about the streamers themselves then? Well, you've got 3 options: the Node Nano, the Node and the Node icon. A classic good, better, best setup. Now, as you move up the range, each model brings more features and performance to the table. All three do come with a neat capacitive touch panel for quick access to volume and presets, which is a small touch, but one that you'll actually use all the time, and one that's surprisingly rare on other streamers. First up then is the Node Nano, which was released in 2024 and comes with an RRP of £299. Now, it is the smallest and most affordable entry into the Bluesound ecosystem, but do not be fooled by its size. It supports high-res audio up to 24-bit 192 kHz, PCM alongside DSD256 files. And the cool part is it actually uses the same DAC that you'll find in the standard Node. So you're getting really, really impressive decoding at this level.
Wait, hang on. What even is a DAC?
A DAC, or digital to analog converter, plays a huge role in how your music actually sounds. Every time you stream a track from Spotify, Tidal, or Qobuz, what you're really playing is a digital file made up of ones and zeros. To turn that data into actual music, your system needs to convert it into an analog signal, and that's what the DAC does. But here's the thing, not all DACs are created equal. Some are great, others not so much. Think of it a bit like a chef. Give the exact same set of ingredients to two different chefs. They're both cooking the same dish, but the results? Well, they're totally different. One chef might serve you a 5-star meal, while another dishes up something a bit more bland. A DAC works in the same way. It's taken the same digital ingredients and interpreting it slightly differently. The better the DAC, the more detailed and engaging the final sound is.
Makes sense.
Okay, back to the Node Nano, and connectivity-wise, it's got all the essentials covered for a typical hi-fi setup. Around the back, you'll find standard RCA outputs for plugging straight into an amp or powered speakers, plus coaxial and optical digital outputs along with Ethernet and dual-band Wi-Fi for network streaming. There's also two-way Bluetooth with aptX adaptive as well. The only thing is you won't find extras like HDMI EARC connectivity, a headphone jack, or any analog, optical, or USB-C inputs here, but that's kind of the whole point. The Nano is designed to stay simple and affordable while still giving you everything that you need for most real-world setups. That means it'll happily sit between your streamer and a pair of bookshelf speakers powered by an integrated amp, feed a digital signal into a soundbar or AV receiver, or even slot into a more serious 2-channel system if you want to add streaming to an existing setup. Your next option is the Bluesound Node, and this one sits slap bang in the middle of the lineup, coming in at £499. Now, if you're into your hi-fi, then you'll know that the Node has been around for quite a while now, and it's earned a reputation as one of the best streamers to beat in this price range. The latest 2024 refresh, or 4th generation version, takes everything people love about the previous Node and tightens it up with smarter internals, cleaner sound, and even more versatility. This model keeps all the things that made the Node Nano great, like your ESS Sabre DAC, high-res audio support, and the same BlueOS platform, but it builds on them to deliver a more dynamic, more refined listening experience. Internally, Bluesound have improved the power regulation and circuitry, lowering noise and distortion to give you a clearer, more controlled sound. It's also Dirac Live ready, which I think is a massive plus at this sort of price point if you want to properly calibrate your system. Just so you know though, that doesn't come built in. You'll need to grab a license and a calibration kit like this one that I've got here. Now, you might be asking, well, what's the benefit? Well, your speakers might be great, but your room could be working against you. For example, bass might get boomy near the sofa, vocals might sound muffled in the corner, and highs can feel harsh. And that's where Dirac steps in. It measures exactly how your speakers perform in your room and then applies smart digital corrections to smooth out the bass, bring vocals forward with clarity, and tame those harsh highs, so you can finally hear your system exactly as the artist intended. But where the Node really does pull ahead for me though is connectivity. Not only do you get RCA, coax, and optical digital outputs, but it also adds a dedicated subwoofer for easy integration with a sub. HDMI EARC is also here too, making it simple to plug directly into your TV. There's also a 3.5mm combo analog/optical jack, USB-A for local music, Ethernet, IR control, and a 12-volt trigger to sync with external amplifiers. Around the front, you'll even find a 6.3mm THX AAA headphone jack. Design-wise, not much has changed from the previous Node model, but for context, it's a little larger than the Nano, about the size of a hardback book, and it also introduces touch capacitive controls on the top panel, adding to that premium feel. All of this makes the Node a brilliant all-rounder. It's simple to use, it's flexible enough to work in almost any setup, and its connectivity alone almost justifies the step up in price for me. So what about the Node Icon then? Well, this is Bluesound's flagship streamer, priced at £899, and it's where they stop holding back and go all out for the serious hi-fi listener. Now you still get all of the features of the standard Node, but the big difference is under the hood, the Icon runs dual ESS Saber DACs in a dual mono design, which massively reduces noise and distortion whilst also opening up the soundstage. Connectivity also does step up a level. Not only do you get RCA, coaxial, optical, a dedicated sub-out and HDMI eARC, but the Icon also adds balanced XLR outputs, which are the gold standard for hooking up to premium amplification with minimal noise. On the input side, you've now got dedicated RCA and optical connections instead of the Node's shared combo jack. Plus, USB-C for streaming audio straight from a computer. Around the front, the Icon really does lean into that flagship feel. There's a 5-inch color display showing album art and track info, and for headphone fans, you get 2 full-size outputs powered by a THX AAA amplifier that delivers an incredibly clean, powerful performance with almost zero distortion. Now, one little touch that I also really like on this one is the glass panel on the top. If you wave your hand over it, the playback controls light up. Now, it's only a small detail, but it makes the whole thing feel that little bit more premium. Overall, the whole unit is heavier, it's more solid, and clearly built to a higher standard. So for me, if you're chasing the very best that Bluesound has to offer with reference level performance, then this is the one to go for. All 3 of these Bluesound streamers benefit from great build quality, and when I tested them on the same system, you could really notice the step up in performance with each one. Now for me, the biggest jump was moving from the Node to the Icon. The Icon really opened up the soundstage and delivered more detail than I was initially expecting. Now don't get me wrong, the Node is no slouch, it's still a seriously capable streamer, but the Icon just showed its superiority. Jumping from the Node Nano to the Node wasn't such a huge leap in terms of sound quality, which I think was to be expected. The real difference between these 2 models is connectivity, and you get a lot more options and flexibility when you move up to the Node. So how did the Icon stack up against the award-winning Arcam Radiator A5 streamer? Well, honestly, that was a much closer call, but for me, the Icon just edged it when it comes to sound quality and what it can do for your wider system. And when you factor in the viewing screen, I'd personally choose the Icon over the A5, but only just. Now, each model definitely has its place in the lineup, but I know a lot of you guys watching are probably wondering, well, which one is actually right for me? And I'd say it's all about matching the product to both your system and how you plan to use it. The Nano is the perfect no-fuss entry point into high-res streaming. It's small, it's affordable, and in my opinion, sounds far better than you'd expect for this level. If you're running a more modest system, say a budget amp with a pair of entry-level bookshelf speakers, then this is probably all you'll ever need. It's a great way to add high-resolution streaming without overspending. Now, the Node is the sweet spot. It's got the connectivity, the performance, and the features to keep most hi-fi fans happy. And if you're pairing it with something like a mid-range integrated amp, or you want something that will really grow with your system as you upgrade over time, then this is the one that I'd point most people towards. And then there's the Node Icon, and this one's designed for those of you with serious amps and speakers. With its dual mono DACs, balanced XLR outputs, and reference level performance, the Icon will let you squeeze every drop of detail from your setup. Now on the flip side, if you're pairing it with a £300 amp and entry-level speakers, you're probably not going to hear the full benefit of what it can do. Generally speaking, if you've got a £20,000 amplifier, then you're not going to want to pair it with the Nano. And if you're running a more modest setup, then the Icon is probably overkill. For most people, the decision will come down to budget, how much you're going to stream, and how serious you are about the sound quality. Once you've figured that out, you can then just start thinking about the extra features that each model offers and the connectivity options that matter most to you. For me, the big takeaway is that Bluesound have covered all of the bases here. Now, sure, there are alternatives out there like Wim that we've already mentioned, Cambridge Audio, Name, they all bring something different to the table. But whether you're dipping your toe into streaming for the first time or you're chasing reference level hi-fi, there's a Bluesound streamer that will slot straight into your system. But what do you guys think? Which one of these streamers would you go for? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video useful, please don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch all of you in the next one.